it goes 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready. Now, here we go. As many of y'all know, I have a copy of the business plan that Jim Ryan himself presented to stakeholders and interested parties in May. The business plan outlines the PlayStation strategy for the PS5 generation. Let's get into it. Hey, I hope you all are finding creative ways to keep it gaming. Trust me, I understand how life can interfere and take away your chances to enjoy gaming. Please keep finding creative ways to outsmart the obstacles and to keep it gaming. You gotta continually find ways to experience greatness. Pegasus Nation represent. How's everybody doing? Thanks for checking out the video, and if you enjoy it, please tap the like button. It would be much appreciated. I wouldn't even mind if you subscribe to the channel. Okay, so this is the business plan, and you can see that the business plan has 5 major sections. In my previous video, I spoke briefly about the 3rd section, new growth vectors, and explained how they do not mean giving first-party games to PC day and date, and explain how the PC gaming market isn't even as big as most fanboys think it is in the first place. I'll put a link to that video in the description, and I'll put it on the screen right now so you can go check that out. In this video, we're going to take a more detailed look at the 1st section, building our biggest ever platform. So we're going to go to this slide next, fiscal year 20 record earnings in a transition year. Now, this slide is extremely important, and it immediately speaks to the incredible health of the PlayStation business model. I promised viewers that I would take a bit more time to explain things in a bit more detail in the business plan, so I'm going to take the time to explain 2 concepts here just to make sure that we're on the same page on what these things mean. And it's important that you understand those things for this slide. So I'm going to explain them first, and then we will transition to that slide. So the first thing we need to understand is net sales. Net sales equals all of the sales revenue of the PlayStation products after they have been reduced by any discounts that they've given and any refunds that they've had to give up. Then another term that's as important that you understand is operating income. Now, operating income is generally after you've paid pretty much all of your bills for being in business. So if you're running a factory, you're going to take out the water bill, the electricity bill, you're going to take out for any administration bills, payroll taxes, etc. Just everything that it costs to do business. What you have left is your operating income. Now that we know what these terms mean, we can examine this next slide. So this is a very interesting slide, and one of the first things we need to pay attention to is this is measured in billions of yen. So this net sales here, we just explained what that means. And so if you start look fiscal year 94, they did not really have any revenue. In 95, they had a little bit more revenue. And so they're starting to get net sales by selling the PlayStation product. If you look here in the year 2000, this slide is tracking the earnings in a transition year. A transition year is whenever they are introducing a new console into the market. So here you see in the year 2000, they had 661 billion yen, but when you look at the operating income, by the time they had to pay all of the things that I said before, manufacturer's costs and all your bills, administration costs and payroll and taxes, they did not have enough money to cover their operating expenses. They went below the line, so they are down here in negative. So they lost negative 51 billion in the year 2000. Now, normally, like if you look at Xbox, for example, Xbox loses money. And so Xbox has to go to Microsoft and borrow money for the parent company to pay Xbox's bills. In the case here, and you look at the year 2000, you see that PlayStation is in the hole 51 billion yen. PlayStation would have had to borrow money from Sony to pay PlayStation's bills. But because PlayStation had so many strong profitable years, they can simply draw money down from their own treasure chest of profits to pay for their own bills. That is something that Xbox could not do. If we go to the next launch of the PS3, you see that they had 1,000 billion yen of net sales. Same thing happened though. Right when the year of the PS3, they did not have enough operating income, so they did not make enough money here, net sales. They did not make enough money in net sales to cover all of their operating expenses, and so they were negative. They were in the hole, negative 232 billion yen. They did not have the money to cover from the net sales. So again, they had to draw money down that they had been able to save up over their profitable years. And then if you look at the next year, 07, they lost money again. So even though they had higher net sales, it still was not enough to cover their operating expenses. So they lost money again. So they lost money 2 years in a row. So they had decent net sales here again, but again, did not make enough. So they were in the hole again. The next year, they still did not have enough. You notice here that PlayStation has historically not been able to cover their operating costs when they transition years. So when they release the PS2, they lose money. They didn't have enough. Same thing in the PS3, they didn't have enough. Same thing with the PS4, they lost money. They did not have enough in these transition years. So if you look here for the PS3, so in 06, 07, 08, and 09, they lost money 4 years in a row, even though up into their history, this is one of their highest net sales ever in their history, but it simply was not enough. If you look here in 2013, so again, nice net sales, but they lost money. But pay attention, the amount of money that they lost this time, so they didn't have enough money to cover their operating expenses, so they didn't have any operating income left over, but they only lost 19 billion yen, which was way better than losing 232 billion yen, and definitely better than losing 51 billion yen. Something happened inside of PlayStation. Something clicked and they understood how to do this better. Now, the name of this slide is Record Earnings in a Transition Year. And what they want you to see is that the entire PlayStation history, they always have lost money in a transition year. Every time the year that they launch a new console, they always lose money every single time. However, when you look at the PS5, so number one, they had record net income. So they had 2,000 billion yen. So that's 2 trillion yen here, but it's a transition year and you do not see this historic drop in operating income because they had so much money that they were able to cover their operating expenses, and they still had one of their best years ever, even though this was a transition year. This emphasizes just how healthy the PlayStation division is. This has never happened in PlayStation's history. So the PlayStation brand is stronger than it has ever been. The PS5 is phenomenal. It is definitely a phenomenon. It is breaking records in PlayStation's own history. Do not underestimate how big of a deal this is. They gained money in a transition year. Never happened before. There's definitely some magic with the PS5. Why we believe in PS5? Our brand has never been stronger. So the PlayStation brand is modern and in touch. That is very apropos because the PlayStation brand is not outdated. It is modern and it is in touch with gamers all over the world. The amazing PlayStation brand is ranked number 9 in the top global brand, passing up even Amazon. This is really incredible when you think about it. PlayStation is among the very strongest and most noticeable brands on the planet. Again, a testament to the health and strength of PlayStation. Now, very few gamers ever heard of a term called brand momentum, and even fewer know what it actually means and how it's calculated. So just real quickly, just to explain it, your brand momentum, it has a ranking, and that ranking is measured in points. There's things that you can do to change your brand image or to change your brand awareness. It is very difficult to achieve an increase of a whole point. So let's look at what this data is saying. I'm gonna zoom in on this because it is so important. What they are saying is, this is PlayStation. This is the brand momentum ranking for PlayStation. And so this green, this is not Xbox. They did not want to give the perception that they were picking on the Xbox brand, so they changed the colors around. But I know that this green represents Nintendo, and this is good. Their brand momentum is very high. This is not sales. This has nothing to do with sales. Nothing at all to do with sales. These numbers represent your ranking in your brand momentum. This is PC. Let me zoom out just a little bit so you can see the entire graph. This purple represents Xbox. The brand momentum for the Xbox is dropping, and dropping in a significant way. So there is a question that they put down here at the end of the slide, and it says, do you think this is a brand that is moving forward, staying the same, or falling behind? And now, of course, they're only referring to their own brand, and what they are trying to communicate to investors was that PlayStation brand is moving forward. The brand momentum is growing. When the PS5 released in 2020, the brand ranking raised by 5 whole points. This is just a crazy incline. They jump 3, then they jump 4, and then they jump 5. The brand momentum for the PlayStation brand is killing it. Meanwhile, Xbox is really struggling right now with their brand momentum. And regardless to what the fanboys tell you, we have data, and the data clearly demonstrates that Xbox is falling behind. PlayStation is increasing like never before. They are very strong, very healthy in the PlayStation brand. Now, are y'all still with me? Are y'all asleep? If you're not asleep, prove it to me by tapping the like button. Thank y'all for all that y'all do. Your boy most definitely appreciate the love, and that's why I don't mind putting in all of this work for the good of the Pegasus Nation. If you want more content like this, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and above all else, let me know how you feel by keeping the conversation going in the comments, or you can keep the conversation going on Twitter. I am legit interested in what you have to say. Keep it gaming, y'all. Peace.